Bueno, 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 bueno. Hola, Tanya Lee. I'm an intuitive psychic spiritual counselor, physical medium, remote viewer, automatic writer, inner child shadow worker, life coach, angelic healer. Bueno, bueno, bueno. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? If you guys could kindly share me out. I don't have a second device, so I'm really need to count on you guys to be kind enough to share me out. If you feel it on your feel it on your heart to do so. I wanted to come out by the waterfall and do some channeled messages and just kind of chit chat. And I did bring my cards in case I was led to pull any cards, but I kind of just wanted to answer questions. We're not going to be doing any kind of paid readings or anything tonight. Just kind of chill out for just a little bit. It's a beautiful night. Oh, thank you. I did it myself. I had fun. I was like a little kid trying to make up these little designs. How's everybody doing? Tell me where you're from. Hello, hello. Please share me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing out. Yeah, today's been kind of crazy in the collective, hasn't it? I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. New Zealand. Dublin. Nebraska. Freezing, huh? I don't know. We don't get too cold here. We get it a little bit, but not that much. I'm gonna let you guys share out. I brought, instead of like bringing my whole bag and everything, this is really, really cool. And they're not that expensive. I don't remember how much. I think it's like $5 or $6, but it's this little cedar and sage spray. So you can use it in place of like burning, and I didn't really want to bring, my stomach is a little wheezy today, so I didn't want to really burn any sage. And this works just as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pray while you guys share out. Hey, Miss Faith, Florida, England. Still a strong smell. I'm going to go ahead and pray. I'd like to ask the 4 archangels to please step forward. That would be Michael, the element of fire, and the gatekeepers from the south. Uriel, the element of earth, and the gatekeepers from the north. Gabriel, and the gatekeepers from the west. And Raphael, and the gatekeepers, the element of air, to the east. Please put up a protection of white golden light as I channel into this energy. Please do not allow any lower level energies. Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the power and the kingdom and glory forever and ever. Amen. I ask that God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, archangels, guardian angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters in Kuan Yin to please step forward and help me deliver messages of light and love. I ask that all messages be for the greatest and highest good. If any please remove any lower level energy that comes into my space. If any spirit would like to step through, that they may do so, as long as it's of good intent. They leave the same way they came, and they leave no physical ailments on my body. I ask all this in Jesus' name. I think clearly, I see clearly, I speak clearly. Woohoo! So how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing tonight? It's kind of, I didn't bring a second device, so I have to kind of rely on the kindness of y'all's heart to share me out. The collectives, it's been a little weird energy today. I watched a little bit of that Justice grilling, that poor girl. They're throwing the book at her. But she's holding her own, which is nice. I'm doing really good, just kind of chilling out. Really enjoying the weather. Really enjoying the weather. I'd like to, you know, guys, we don't have very many days before things start to, I mean, it's going to get crazier and crazier, but the real show starts pretty soon. It's really, really important. I've been trying to put a lot of information out there and work with you guys a lot more as a group, because it's really important that you ground, that you protect your energy, that you stay in your space. Don't fight with people to try to prove this or that, or don't even engage. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage. Just let people be who they want to be, believe how they want to believe, and you just stay true to yourself, okay? Because that's what's going to help pull us through. Let me ask you something, guys. What is this? Because the main complaint I get from people is that they can't meditate. So tell me why you feel that you can't meditate. Tell me, what is it that makes you believe that, or what is the blocks that you feel that causes that you can't meditate? What is that? Oh, you're welcome, Brandy. Yeah, it's really important. Just allow people to think and feel how they want. You'd be surprised at how much better your life will go if you don't try to change people's minds. Stand firm in yours, you know, especially if somebody's trying to convert the way you're thinking. You know, hey, look, I see it this way. You know, you see it however you want, but that's not my truth. Yes, we have plenty of crazy days coming. Brain thinks too much. Anxiety. Well, that's one of the best reasons to keep meditating is the brain thinking. Because you want to get to the point where you can tell. See, we've all been programmed to think. Just go, 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 go. Right? So when we sit down to be still, right, we can't do it because we're programmed to go, go, go. Now this is a program that we can debate all night long how it got there, why it's there, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's just a block, right? So we just need to accept that it's there. Majority of the time, if you accept that something's there, that's half the battle. Because many people will come up with a lot of different things, right? Other than that it's there. So if you feel, well, first off, let's back up, okay? You expect yourself to do it a certain way. Am I right? Every one of y'all expect it to be a certain way, right? And whether it's right? Everybody has this expectation in their mind of how that's supposed to go. That's your first mistake right there. If we take the expectation out, because when we expect things to go a certain way, then we automatically set ourselves up for failure if anything else happens. Oh, I failed. Oh, I can't do this. You know what? This isn't for me. Look, I can't do it like she can. I can't do it like he can. So if we take that out of the equation, because truthfully, guys, everything is a math problem. If we take that out of the equation and we say, you know what? I'm not ready to sit down and go into that full mode of type of meditation. I'm not ready for it. Then you start doing the other things that you can do, like get engrossed in a song, or dance, or arts and crafts, or writing. You start there. And if you'll just take 5 or 6 minutes a day and time it, put it on your watch, time it, and just do it, and like do some kind of activity, and then after you're done with the activity, take 5 or 6 minutes, and you can build up over time, but take 5 or 6 minutes and just try to sit there in silence. And when a thought comes, instead of going, oh shit, I'm thinking, I'm not supposed to be thinking, I'm supposed to be meditating, don't do that. Go ahead and let the thought come, and then let it pass. Let it come, and then let it pass. And see, what you're doing is when you recognize that you're having the thought, you're exercising that muscle in your brain that helps you meditate. It's exercising. For those of you that like exercising, you know that you can't just go and start lifting, 100 pounds. You got to start with 10, 20, right? It's the same thing. Or do the shower meditation. If you make a commitment to do 5 or 6 minutes a day, so listen to a song, write in a journal, draw something, color something, paint something, dance, sing, whatever. That lasts about 5 or 6 minutes, right? Or do the activity for at least 10 minutes. And then take 5 to 6 minutes and just sit there, whether you want to hear some music in the background or not, that's up to you. But if you just sit there and you focus on stillness, focus on your breath. That's why they talk about focus on your breath, right? Because your mind is... And if those of you that have done energy work with me, you know I take it a step further, right? I tell you to go 1, 2, 3 in, hold it, count to 1, 2, 3, and then release 1, 2, 3. If you do this several times, you start to clear, and you can start to feel that energy start to move, right? That's all you have to do. And then over a period of time, you will build up, and then pretty soon you'll be sitting there and there won't be no thoughts. And then occasionally a thought might come in, but there's not going to be a thought. What I like to do is I like to put crystals on me. I'm kind of weird. I'll put a crystal on my third eye. I'll put a crystal on all my chakras. Okay? And then hold 2 in my hand, and then I'll lay in bed and I'll just focus on my breathing, and I'll listen to something. Whether it's guided meditation, whether it's just music or whatever, and that helps me. But it took me a while to get there, because at first I could not lay there and do that. So it's like the equivalency is saying, okay, you go to the gym with your best friend. Your best friend goes to the gym every day, and she's very fit. And here you are, you haven't gone to the gym in forever. And you're watching them do the weights, and you're watching them do the treadmill, whatever it is, and you can't keep up. And you're like, shit, I can't do this. forget it, man. And then you tune yourself out. That's what a lot of people do with meditation, is that mentality right there. Because you're comparing how everybody else is doing it. Just find your rhythm, and if you find your rhythm, stick to it. And then you can add to the rhythm. Right? It's like, how many of you guys have gotten to the point where if you're in a really bad argument, you'll walk away? Has anybody gotten to that gotten to the point where you just walk away and you're like, fuck it. I'm not even gonna argue. I'm not even gonna argue. That's where you gotta get inside about meditation. You gotta understand that this is something to build up to. And you can't, just like you're not going to argue with that person, you're not going to argue with yourself. So let's take the person away. We're not going to have that argument with ourselves, telling ourselves, you know, how bad we are and how we can't do this and we must not be spiritual, we must not be this, blah, 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 because we can't do something. So, and the reason why I say that is because you guys are really going to need to practice this a lot over the next few weeks. Next few months, actually. Because the energy is going to be such a massive change. It's going to totally, the world in which we live right now, we will not live again. It's going to be totally different. And it can go one way or it can go another, but it's changing, whether we like it or not. Whether we want it to happen or not. The outside world is changing. Thoughts are changing. Consciousness is changing. Some for the better, some for the worse. But it's really important that that's how we stay focused on the inside, because at the end of the day, that's all we can manage, right? Because we can't really control anything else or anybody. We can't even control our children, right? Sure, you can to some degree if they're little enough, but even then they can throw a tantrum fit, right? So once we truly understand that we can't control like that, we come from a different place mentally. And when you come from that different place, then you're able to do more things mentally, because your mind is not full of that conquer and quest. Quit trying to get everybody to think and believe the way you do. I'm very adamant about how I feel, what I think, and what I believe. I have my integrity, I have my values, my virtues, and they're important to me. And I have many people that will try to change that. It's like, this isn't up for debate. This isn't up for debate. This is the way, now, does that mean that I'm always right? Or should I compromise from time to time? Sure, but not on my core, not on my integrity. Not for something that I believe with all my heart. I might need to look at it from a different angle. That's totally different. But some people think, oh, well, if I look at it the way she's looking at it, then I'm giving up how I look at it. No, that's called unconditional positive regard. That means I can hear what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying. I respect what you're saying, but I don't agree with what you're saying. And that's okay. And I think that's one thing that we've kind of lost sight of here, at least here in America. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I know some of you guys are here from other parts of the world, but for here in America, that part has been lost. And if you're any kind of awake at all, then you understand that there is no black and white. There's a ton of gray. Thank you, Mary, so much for the stars. There's so much area in between. You can be pro this or pro that, but if this situation, I'm not that, right? That's why you don't, it's not important to get into those debates, because we're at a point where you're not, people are going to choose what they want. And to try to waste your energy on trying to sway them to be a certain party or believe a certain politician is pointless at this point. You're a little late for that game. People are going to, if people can't see the writing on the wall and they can't really see what's going on, nothing you can say, I don't care how much truth you want to shove down their throat, there's nothing you can say that can change it now. This is something they have to do. This is something they have to come into terms with, right? And there's a lot of people that are not seeing the writing on the wall. They're scared to see the writing on the wall. Just as you were when you first saw the writing on the wall. You went through that time frame of being scared and not really understanding, and going through that whole emotional roller coaster of learning truth. See, people say they know truth, but until they really kind of we never know all truth, so we're constantly learning truth. That's why people say, well, I'm awake. No, you're not. You've woken up, but you're not awake. None of us are truly awake. It's an awakening process. The only time you're fully awake is when you're dead and you go back to source, you're back to energy. Then you're fully awake. But until then, awakening is an ongoing process. So even if you're telling that fib to yourself, stop. Because you're not fully awake. You may be awoken to some things, but you're not completely awake. Nobody is. I don't care how many followers, how many people they have on their live, how famous their name is. None of that shit means anything. We're all constantly going through some kind of awakening stage. Always. So be careful of that. Don't ever put somebody up on a pedestal, because it doesn't work like that. Yeah, Mercury retrograde will end on November 13th, not the 3rd, the 13th. And this is another reason why I just wanted to kind of do a chillaxing video tonight, because so many people get very worked up and very scared, and oh my God, we're going through Mercury retrograde. It's our last one of the year. Good. Second, it's a time for clearing out. So for those of you that have trouble with retrogrades, if you're having the same thing come back and you're dealing with the same issues, or you have an ex-boyfriend, or you have other problems that come back up to the surface, then that means that you haven't come to terms with those issues. And that's why they keep resurfacing. People like to tell themselves, we may not tell a lot of lies going out of our mouth, but we say a whole lot of lies going in our inside. We lie to ourselves a whole lot. Yeah, exactly, Peggy. Don't be afraid of the Mercury retrograde. Use this time to heal with things you need to let go of. Exactly. That's why it's a good time to clear out your dresser drawers, your clothes, your papers. There are certain things to stay away from, right? We don't want to sign any big contracts. We don't want to, you know, mess around with people that we shouldn't be messing around with. We don't want to, because we don't want to invite that energy back. We did all that work to get that energy away, and then it's like, oh, you know. And that's when your ex will call you on the phone, and you'll be like, ugh, you know, and oh, but I miss him. Da, 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 da. No, you haven't dealt with that. That's why it's coming back to you in the retrograde. Take advantage of the retrograde. I did post on the page and in the group, you know, some do's and don'ts for the retrogrades. There are certain things to stay away from. Yes, some electronics are going to mess up. Yeah, energy is going to be kind of crazy. It's no crazier than what it is. It's just intensified because the energy level is higher. That's all. You're so fatigued right now. Who was that? Carla. Well, you started the cell before the retrograde, Terry. That's different. That's different. And remember, we can psych ourselves into a lot of things. If we're being fatigued, then either we're overworking ourselves or not getting. There's a reason for that. It's not a lot of people like to blame the energies, their physical drainage on the moon and the retrogrades and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, like full moons can, you know, these things can affect your sleep. But if we know that, then what does that mean? That means we need to be doing something to help us sleep better. Whether it's playing music, whether it's doing some essential oils, diffuser, you know, whatever the case may be. Maybe going to bed a little earlier, maybe getting off your phone a little bit before bed, something like that, you know. Read. But if we know that a particular energy is going to affect us, because here's what happens a lot in this community. The moon and the universe affects my energy, so I just deal with it. I'm an empath and I can feel everybody, so that's my excuse for why I'm so emotional or why I'm so drained, or why, instead of looking at, it's just like everything else in life. We have to look at, okay, well, why is this happening? Okay, this is happening because of this. Okay, well, what do we need to make that stop? Don't get comfortable in that place of saying, oh, well, that's just the way it is. I'm an empath. You know, I'm an empath. I feel everything. I feel all that energy, blah, blah, blah. No. Then you're playing victim. And we have to be careful. Empaths are not victims. And I hear that so much in the spiritual community, and that's one thing that kind of teased me off, because you guys are sucking this up. And so when you do have an episode of something affecting your energy, or something, you know, somebody, the downside of being an empath starts to hit you, then it's like, huh, I'm just a victim. And no, wait a minute. I control my energy. No one else controls my energy. I can sympathize. I can be there for you. I can do this and this and this. But I have a boundary. The reason why empaths have issues is because you don't have boundaries. And it's not like you can't have boundaries and care about people. Actually, having boundaries is caring about people. It's a child that has been spoiled rotten, that has not suffered a consequence, is the child that will bring about the worst tears. Why? Because there's no consequence. So the same thing happens with being an empath. You're not you're not suffering any kind of consequence for how you maintain your energy. You're pushing the buck off onto other situations and people. So therefore, you're not to blame. You're a victim. No, don't fall for that, guys. Yes, will it be perfect? No. Will there be times that you get hurt or things happen? Yes, of course. But if you stay focused on connecting to your higher self, and you truly love yourself like you say you do, then you're not going to be this victim empath. You're not going to be that. You're not going to be that. Hey, Ashley. Yes, boundaries save our life, and boundaries show that you love someone. Look, I love you so much, but I also love myself, and here is that line in the sand. And when you say that, one or two things are going to happen. Well, actually three. Someone's going to try to push it, right? Because you haven't had boundaries up all this time. Why now? So they'll try to push it. But then one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to leave because they cannot push you over, or they are going to respect you. And then you teach them in turn how to love themselves. Because somebody that loves themselves is not going to try to do that to somebody, right? Because when you totally get the unconditional love, and not many people get it. They say they do, but they don't get it. Because you can see it, you can feel it. If people got unconditional love as much as they say, then we would feel it in the collective. But we don't feel that. And, with all honesty, unconditional love is just something that's been talked about for the last 10 years. It's not something that was focused on anywhere. So we have generation after generation after generation that grew up and did not understand what this means. Right? And so we are learning this all together. And that is the biggest gift that you can give the ones that you love. They may not like it, but they will eventually appreciate it. You know what I mean? So don't be a victim. Right now, if you've been a victim of energies and you just, you get so drained at work, or you get so this, or so that, then start working with your energies, because you get like that because you allow yourself to get like that. It's not the other people's energy. It's not nobody else's fault. It's your fault. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just being honest. And I had to learn that too. I've been put through a lot of shit in my life, and some of that shit that I've been put through, I put through myself because of choices and decisions that I made. It's not all somebody else's fault. So we have to, the more and more that we do that, and it's just hard because everybody's in the habit of blaming the energy, or blaming retrograde, or blaming being empath, or blaming having a narcissist husband. Well, if you have a narcissist husband, why are you with that husband? If he's truly narcissist. But we're real quick to call people narcissists without really understanding what narcissist really is, or what that really means. Because remember, whatever you see in somebody else is the same trait that you can have in yourself. right? So we're all just, that's why it's really, you have to be very careful of how much that you say you want to do this or do that to people, because we're all just a snap away from losing it. We all have that spot in our brain that can make us lose it, you know? So whatever, anything you see another human being do, please do not think that you are so superior that you don't have the capability of doing that, because every component inside of that person, regardless how horrendous it is, you have the same components in you to do the same. The difference is you choose not to go there. You see? That is the only difference between you and that person. And I don't care how horrendous, how crazy the act is. The difference is you choose not to go where they are going. But we all have the ability to go to the same place. That's why it's very careful. We have to be careful and not wish ill or death. Be very careful of that, because someone close to you could be affected, or you could be affected. Instead, you wish for justice, and justice comes in many, many forms, and we don't always get to see the justice, but we kind of feel we're entitled. I'm entitled to see the justice. No, you're not. And that's a hard pill to swallow. You're not entitled to see the justice all the time. Sometimes you get lucky and you get to see it play out. Other times you don't. But you have to have faith and trust that, justice will be served. Yes, Kimberly. 2020 election, Mercury retrograde, and of course the veil is thinning on a full moon Halloween. Crazy. You're absolutely right. That's why it's even more important now that y'all got some time to keep practicing with what I'm telling you. To be honest, there's a lot of people that don't give a whole lot for free because they want compensation for their energy. And I totally get that. I want compensation too. But when I come on a live, or when I post on my wall, that's not what it's about. Because see, I'm being compensated. Maybe not in the form of money all the time, but I'm being compensated. And yes, it is important for energy exchange. That's why you can book private readings with me. I can do life coaching, I can do shadow work, I can do mediumship, I can do pendulum work. I can do a lot of different things. And if you want that in depth, yeah, you need to pay. That's only fair. But in a general setting, my reward is and this has happened time and time again, and it's so rewarding to know that somebody has followed me and they've learned how to do things, and they're learning things, and they're learning and developing, and they're not the same person they were. They're a much better person. That is a great reward. That is an awesome reward. And so keep that in mind, that we need to also remember to stay in touch with our humanitarian side, okay? Stay in touch with your humanitarian side. I'm not saying give away the farm. But let me tell you something. If you're picking fruit and you have all this fruit over here sold, and you have all this extra fruit, are you going to hoard it because you could charge for it? So you're going to hoard the fruit, waiting for somebody to... You've already sold your fruit. Now you're hoarding this, hoping that you're going to hang on until somebody else buys it. But the fruit will rotten by that time. And what happens? The fruit comes alive again, does it not? If you take care of your soil, the fruit regrows again. You have some to sell, and you have some to give out. It's the same thing in life. So, that's what I have to say. How are y'all liking how things are going in the group? I've been doing a lot of work in there for you guys, trying to have things set up and staying consistent for you. I hope that that is becoming beneficial. Aw, Peggy says I can attest to that. I've been on Tanya's team for years. I'm so much, yeah. And Peggy's a new person. She's not even the same person. And I understand that we all have a lot of things going on. We all have our own little battles that we're facing. And that's why the more that we come together and try to stay in a positive energy, the more we help each other. You know what I mean? Aw, thank you, Karen. That's very sweet of you. Yes, what you put in, what you put out, is it comes back to you. It doesn't always come right away. Some people get upset with that part, right? And unfortunately, I know I'm just as guilty as anybody. When I came into the spiritual realm, I really believed, oh, I'm in the spiritual realm. So, oh, thank you guys. These people are all about love and light. No, not everybody is. And I've learned the hard way. I've had my share of knocks around. But I have met so many beautiful people that completely outweigh the ones that aren't. That's right. With the right tools, you can handle anything that comes your way. And that's doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean that it's going to come fast. But it does mean it comes. All things pass. This too shall pass. There's a reason why that's written down. You know? Oh, thank you, Carla. That's very sweet. You know, and I'm still growing too. I mean, there's so many other things that I do that I'm just not comfortable sharing because of the criticism out there, and that's something that I need to overcome. But it's getting easier. It's different when you're on a platform like this and people will make fun of you or tell lies about you or scrutinize every little thing or pretend that they're your friend but they're over there talking. People don't think that I know that, but trust me, I know there's several people, even some, there's a few in my circle that do that. You can't keep them out, right? They're people like that are always going to be there. But that's why I have a little bit more sympathy of people that are in the limelight, because I'm nowhere near the limelight and I have to deal with it. I could imagine being somebody with the spotlight on them. We don't even know anybody in the spiritual realm on a one-on-one basis that's in that kind of spotlight. I mean, that is truly in that spotlight on like a David Icke type of level, right? There are a few people out there, but we don't know them personally, right? But what you do see is that, people either they get a little shy from it, or they might stand in the middle of it, or they get really big-headed. And you'll notice by the way people talk. If they're talking more about themselves and then they're using you as they're reading themselves in your energy. If they're in the middle, then you're gonna feel calmness and you'll feel a calmness and it'll resonate at the core of your soul. And then if they're totally opposite, you'll be turned off. You'll be like, I can't even stay on this line. No, thank you. So, but I couldn't imagine being somebody with like millions and millions of people. That's a lot of energy coming at you, a lot of criticizing and well, I would do this and I would do that. No, you don't know what you do in somebody else's shoes. You might have an idea of maybe a different way you would handle it, but you don't have to agree with the way they're handling it. And I would do this way, but you can't judge them based on how they do what they do, because you don't know everything. You know what I mean? Aw, thank you, Lisa. So keep that in mind as everybody's out here throwing all this shit around in the collective. Try to make sure that you're not getting caught up in it. That's like on a whole political thing. I'm in the neutral. I mean, I know where I don't want my country to go. But I'm just going to discern and do what I feel I need to do. And you do what you feel you need to do. And let's see where we end up at the end. That's how I look at it. I'm not here to persuade anybody to vote this way or vote that way. No. I don't give a shit which way you want to vote. What I want for you is for you to feel right in your soul. Do you feel in the core of your soul what you're doing, what you're voting for, what you support is what you should be doing? And if you do, then run with it, baby. Just run with it. Now, this brings me up to something. We have 33 people in here. If I did a live on a Zoom, then we would all be in a room where we could talk and dialogue with each other. That's what I want to do with the book. So tomorrow night I'm going to run that watch party again for the... I really want to do this book with you guys. Intro, chapters 1 and 2. And then I want us to meet up. We can't do it on Friday, but maybe on a Saturday. Let's meet up and let's come on the Zoom. You don't have to, if you don't want to show the camera, you don't have to. You can deny the camera and just your voice being heard. But then that way we can, we can share dialogue back and forth. Because sometimes, I know y'all try with the text, and I get some of them, but some of them I don't. And I don't mean it bad. But I really want to do this with you guys. I'm telling you, this type of mentality thinking will be really great for you. Yes, the 4 agreements. And we could do it Saturday evening. That would be great. And then, because we should always be looking at different perceptions, because you can always take a little something from this and a little something of that. It's kind of like making your own. How many of y'all have your own recipe where you put a pinch of this and a pinch of that to make your own little thing, and everybody loves that dish? And somebody asks you, say, well, what's the recipe to that dish? I don't know. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's what's amazing with learning and reading and researching, is because it allows us, oh, well, here, let me put a couple sprinkles of this in here. Oh, thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. Yes, love is a recipe. Very true. Yep. You can get it on Amazon. It's really cheap. And like I said, if you guys don't have the money for the book, or we can do watching it. I mean, you'll get more out of reading it, the chapters, of course. But hey, not all is lost there. There's a lot to be learned just from the video, from the audio. It's audio, actually. Oh, I'm not sad. No. It's the 4 agreements. I'm just laid back today. Yes, it's very interesting. It really is. It's a very cool way to look at things. I'm not doing readings right now. We're just talking. I'm sorry. We're not really doing readings. Thursday, I will come on and do some paid readings and free readings. Always mix them up. And guys, y'all should be following both. The Awakening Your Soul group is a learning and development group, okay? I will be putting more activities in there. I'm hoping to get some people to start helping put some activities in the group. So if that's something you're interested in, then please post it. Because right now, there's just a few of us that post in there, and you guys are more than welcome to post in there too. it's not a group for, can I get a free reading for this or blah, blah, blah. That's not what the group's for. The group is for learning and development. Okay? So if there's some games that you have that you know of, you can share in there. If you're having a bad day, you can share support. But that's what that group is for. And I have been doing some free cards in there. So like I'll post, you won't know which one it is, but if you follow my posts, I'm doing at least 2 or 3 a day that are giving out a free card. Some on my wall and some in the group. But you have to follow. I'm not going to say what that is going to be every single time, because then people just show up for that particular post. And the objective is to get you to read that little paragraph, right? See, I could be like many other people in this realm and manipulate you to thinking that you have to be dependent on me. But that's not my goal. My goal isn't to make you be dependent on me. My goal is for you to be the best person you can be. Will I always be there for you? Yeah, as long as I'm breathing and we're in contact with each other, I will always be there. You can always come to me. I will always be there for to help guide you if that's what you want. But my goal is to get you to be the best person you can be, and you can't be that if you're dependent upon me or anyone. You can't be the best person you can be if you're dependent on anybody else other than yourself, right? And sometimes people will start learning and then woof, they go off and they don't finish their foundation. They just get a little bit of, oh well, I got a little bit of this right, or I could do a little bit of cards this, or I could do this, and then boom, they're gone. They're off on a tangent, and then they fall because you have to build that foundation. And that's my goal for you guys, is to teach you the foundation so you can go off and do whatever you want. There is so many people out here that need healing. And we're all healers. Nobody has a special gift of being a healer. We all just have different ways of being a healer. But so many people try to trap you guys. Oh, you know what? You're an empath. Oh my goodness, you're going to be a Reiki healer. Oh, you're going to be this. Oh, you're going to be that. And you get trapped. And it's like, anybody can be a healer. Anybody can do Reiki. Literally anybody can do Reiki, because Reiki is just moving your hands a certain way. Okay? The real key is being a healer by your life. See, you can heal more people by the way you live and what you share in your day-to-day life than you could ever do in paid sessions. But a lot of people don't understand that. Awesome. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put Reiki down, because Reiki is a very wonderful thing. I finished and got my little certificate, but for me, it's not for me. I like moving energy with the believers. I like physically doing it a different way. I don't like conformity, right? I mean, look how I read cards. I don't even read out of one deck. I read out of multiple decks. I do things a little different for everything I do, and that's okay. And Reiki is wonderful. If you find somebody that can really, that's not pretending to be, or putting on a show to be, But somebody that really is good, you can get some really good relief with it, and it's a wonderful tool. But my point in saying that, so I wasn't trying to put anybody down that does Reiki. I'm just trying to say we all have a capability to heal people. And we don't have to do it in this massive, big, flamboyant way. There's many ways. You know, if you're at the store, I'll give you an example. If you're at the store, and let's say there's somebody in front of you and they're doing their groceries, and here's this person in the checkout, and the person in front of you is just being a real ass. They're being rude, they're mean, they're demeaning, they're just downright really mean to the cashier. And without knowing anything, here this cashier has been contemplating suicide. She's in a horrible relationship. She's wearing long sleeves and turtlenecks because her boyfriend beats the shit out of her and chokes her. But here's this person being all mean and da-da-da-da. And she's sitting there and she's thinking, you know what, tonight's the night I'm going to do that. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired. And you observe. And it's not always our place to call people out. There's a time and a place for everything. So I'm not saying it would be a good thing or a bad thing. But in this instance, we're not going to call out. We're going to let that person go on about their way. And then we come up to the register. And we show that poor cashier some compassion. We give her some love. And in doing so, we give her a little bit of hope. We pay her a compliment. You know what? I am so sorry about that woman in front of me. I know she was being such a jerk to you. But you're so awesome the way you handled that. You have really great customer service. In this same hypothetical story, you just lifted that girl up. You know what? Maybe she won't kill herself today. You know what? Maybe she'll have the courage to leave that relationship. You never know what kind of impact you really have on people. That's why I say we're all healers. We all have that healing ability. Now, some do have, they have more abilities to do things with their hands and different things of that nature. That's a more advanced, because just like people like Whitney Houston can sound so beautiful, and then you hear me sing and it's like, oh my gosh, it's time to stop, right? It's not that I can't sing, that's just not my calling. Some people have a natural way of doing it. So keep that in mind as we go through the rest of our week, and people are having such a hard time with, you know, because there's many places that are still very locked down. Yeah, there's many people that are really having a hard time. And if you want to get out of your hard time the quickest, be nice, help someone out of theirs. That's a quick kick out. It really is. Because it's easy to be an asshole. It takes no skill whatsoever to be an asshole. It doesn't even take skill to be a smart ass. It takes skill to be a nice person when you're not, things aren't going so nice. That shows true character. So let's make sure that we are really trying to do that a little more over the next few weeks. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be really important. Alright guys, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to come on and chit chat with you. Tomorrow night, let's do that watch party, probably around let's say around 8:30. We'll do that watch party in there. So those of you that don't have the book, you can come in and watch the watch party. We can interact on that. Thursday, I will be doing some paid and free readings. Friday is the new moon. We'll be doing a live for that. And then Saturday, we can meet up and discuss the book. Sound like a plan? Sound like a good plan? And if you would like a one-on-one reading for the moon or for whatever, you can go to TanyaLee.com. I'm doing $10 off my readings. The coupon is BOO. So just use the word BOO at checkout and I'll take $10 off a reading. Okay? If you want some one-on-one guidance or mentorship or anything like that, you can book you can book a session, or you can join my monthly membership where I'll work with you one-on-one each month. Okay? Yeah, I think we'll come out here for our talks. It's so peaceful. And it's a grounding experience. You hear the music, you hear the water. Makes it very relaxing. But, alright. Love you guys. Stay tuned into the group. What else? It seems like I'm forgetting to say something. Oh, the retrograde. Don't let the retrograde get you. No, no, no. Say no, no, no. Not today, sir. No, no. No, no, no. I control my energy. Put up your boundaries. Don't be a victim just because you're an empath. We are powerful empaths. Being an empath is a superpower. It's not a weakness. Okay? Love you guys. Have a blessed night.